Hey friends, Peggy Hall back with you from thehealthyamerican.org. I am broadcasting this video on Thursday, January 30th, 2025. It is the second day of Kennedy's confirmation hearings by the Senate for the position of Secretary of Health and Human Services. Well, I have good news for everybody. It is okay to lie at a job interview if it means you're going to get the job. In fact, that's exactly what people have told me over on my Instagram page because I was posting things. Well, I was posting quotes from Kennedy himself. For example, he says, I support the CDC vaccine schedule, and I recommend that parents follow the CDC schedule. So he's either lying or he's telling the truth. Either way, it's bad. And I'm sure he would never deceive you about anything else. Just ask his wives. Well, he also said, I will support the development and distribution of vaccines for the avian flu. And boy, oh boy, are there tons of people that are defending his position. Nothing like a good bait and switch. He also says that Operation Warp Speed was an extraordinary accomplishment. So I don't know how much more clear this can be. He's either telling the truth or he's lying, and either does not sit well with me. You either have dignity and integrity and you do the right thing, regardless of the consequences, as many of us have done over these last many years. And how sad it is for the people that are going to hear Kennedy supporting this. And then they go out and get their children or themselves to become human pincushions. By the way, did you hear one of the senators using that phrase? He must be listening to the original Healthy American. And many of my viewers, or I should say followers on Instagram, I apparently don't like to do the deep digging. They just want to scroll. And they have said again and again, Peggy, he's just trying to get his foot in the door. Well, so you're okay with that. You're okay with deception if the means justify the ends. Why not take this opportunity, Kennedy, and present the facts and the truth and the data and the stories of people that have been harmed and the stories of those family members who have been killed. You either stand for dignity, integrity, and truth, or you do not. I, for one, am not falling for it. I guess some people have never heard the phrase, a wolf in sheep's clothing. Friends, for the last year or longer, I've been telling you about Kennedy and his true position. He is in favor of mandating the medical interventions for what he calls unwilling Americans if these products are going to help us rather than hurt. That is his quote. You didn't want to hear it. And he is proving that true. He also says, I've never been anti-vaccine. And he said, I've said it hundreds of times. Here in 2023, I'm not anti-vaccine. This comes from yesterday's Senate hearing. I am supportive of vaccines. He repeated it. I am supportive of vaccines. I want good science and I want to protect the vaccines. I guess he should change the name of Children's Health Defense to Vaccine Safety Defense. So instead of the defender of children, the defender of vaccines. Here's another one. This was yesterday. I believe vaccines play a critical role in healthcare. That came in his opening statement. He said it voluntarily. Here we go. That is just a screenshot. And this is from today's Senate hearing. He says, I support the CDC vaccine schedule, and I recommend that parents follow the CDC schedule. How do you like them apples, friends? How about those parents who are waffling and not sure whether or not to go ahead with this? But they heard from Kennedy himself say that he supports it and he recommends that parents follow it. So now he wants an uptick in vaccines. He says, I will support the development and distribution of vaccines for the avian flu. I'm going to restore trust in the government, and that will increase vaccine uptake. This was an exchange with Senator Murkowski. He says, if we want an uptake in vaccines, we need a trustworthy government. That's why I want to restore trust in the government and the CDC so that if the government says something, they know it's true.
etiology of our chronic disease. It just seems like common sense to me.
I would point out that in many cases, it's Congress.
I wonder if she is suffering from the same malady that Kennedy is, because her voice sounds pretty shaky and her gestures are pretty shaky. I'm going to cue this up for you, her question and his response.
And cannot get a vaccine are at risk of being in a classroom with an unvaccinated child and thus at risk of getting the infectious disease because we've lost the herd immunity. What would be your response to that?
My response is that vaccine uptake for the COVID vaccine, for example, is down to 23%. And all vaccines are dropping, and they're doing that because people don't believe the government anymore. We need good science, and I'm going to bring that in. I'm going to restore trust, and that will restore vaccine uptake.
I'm going to restore trust. Now, friends, if you've been following me for any length of time, I have done many videos pointing this out long ago that was his main talking point, that he was going to restore trust. How do you restore trust? Trust in an agency that we've never trusted is very curious to me. I have done Substacks on this topic. He has been talking about it for years. And I told you that he was put in place specifically for this purpose, to so-called restore trust in the government. So then when he rolls out the junior jab, people are going to roll up their arms and line up because now you can trust the government. Listen to him. He just said it, that he is going to restore trust in the government, and that will increase vaccine uptake. How do you like them apples? Now, as you can see on my Instagram page, there are plenty of people who are defending the defender. And let's see, this one in particular got a lot of very interesting commenters here. And some people are saying, he's just saying that, Peggy. He's just doing that to get his foot in the door. He wants safe vaccines. Don't look too much into this, says Wild Seahorse Village. Yes, she's absolutely right. Or he, do not look into things, friends. Accept what these politicians tell you. Oh, by the way, he also said, and I tried to give you the exact video, which came from The Guardian, and I could not download that. For some reason, YouTube would not allow me to do that. But he does say at the end of his confirmation hearing at about 2 hours and a half, he said he will not restrict or limit anything related to the vaccine programs. He said that everyone in his family has Lyme disease and his son's face was paralyzed by it. Of course, not by any other products that might have been introduced into his body, not at all. And he says, of course, it was not caused by vaccines. And he said there is no one who will fight harder to find a vaccine treatment for Lyme disease than himself. He also was asked at about 2.5 hours in, do you think that the polio vaccine is safe and effective? Oh, did you notice, friends? They've got a new phrase now. They call it necessary, safe, and effective. How do you like them apples? Those are going to be the new apples, that they are necessary, safe, and effective. Senator Murkowski wants him to use his position to bring greater levels of confidence. And he answers by saying, I'm going to restore trust in the government, and that will increase vaccine uptake. So the bottom line, friends, is I wouldn't be too concerned when he says that he promotes the CDC childhood vaccine schedule and that he's going to support the development of the avian flu vaccine and distribution. Don't be concerned. He told you that he's going to follow the science, and the science is going to be safe and effective. And that's because the pharmaceutical companies said so. And the government is going to be giving the pharmaceutical companies more money. That's what he's going to do. He said he's going to control the budgeting. And that will also include expanded testing, and that benefits the pharmaceutical companies also. Yes, don't think that he's a shill for these pharmaceutical companies. Come on, he's Maha, and he has the Maha Moms for America. He wouldn't lie to them, would he? Like he lied to his wives and cheated on them? He wouldn't cheat on the American public. Oh, no, sirree. He will only lie at the Senate confirmation hearing to say these things that he doesn't believe. Well, that's what all y'all are saying on Instagram, that he's just saying that so he can get his foot in the door. Here you go. Julie says, once he's confirmed and real science is the standard, it will show that the cocktails, as I call them, are not safe. He's pushing for real transparent science. He needs to get confirmed fast. It's obvious to anyone who has followed him closely for any length of time. And Conscious Rebellion says he's literally the best chance. It's sad to see you post this. Yes, it's not sad for him to say he's supportive of vaccines. No, not at all. It's not sad that he is going to support the research and rollout and the development of the avian flu vaccines. That's not sad. It's not sad that he supports the CDC schedule and is going to recommend parents to follow the CDC schedule. That is not sad at all. It's sad that I'm pointing it out. That's what's sad. It's sad that I'm making these memes and trying to educate people. Oh, I have to take moderates into consideration. So I know that I put a comment here, an answer here somewhere, but basically, would you get injected if Kennedy told you that science says these products are safe? Let the justifications begin. People are going to defend him. And it's up to those of us who have eyes to see, ears to hear, a mind that discerns and can read between the lies. So with these statements, he is either lying or he's telling the truth. And I, for one, am not in favor of either. What say you? Friends, I've got a second video for you. As you know, I've got a new broadcast time that is 6 p.m. Pacific, that's 9 p.m. Eastern, that will allow me to better analyze the day's events, especially in these very trying times. I am going to be sharing with you an email that a Healthy American sent me, all about good cop, bad cop, and whether or not we are seeing this at play. I appreciate my Healthy Americans here on YouTube. I have to say, out of all of the platforms, I'm not on Facebook. I'm not on Telegram. Somebody's uploading there, but it's not me. And I don't even know if I'm going to be on Instagram much longer, because when you've got people that only want to scroll and do not want to do a deep dive, then we've got a problem. So I really love our interaction here. And those of you that are discerning, I am appreciative that you stayed until the end of this video. Thank you for sharing this and letting me know what you think about this sheep. Actually, the sheep that are following him, I should say, the wolf in sheep's clothing.